Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or hi, my name is Stacy if you're new here. So for today's video, we have the newly released NATASHA DENONA GLAM face palettes. I have both of them right here. So we have the light one as well as the dark one. So these palettes come in new packaging. It's like really shiny. And I feel like it honestly looks better in person than in the promo photos. So these just released today on Sephora and they both retail for $59. But if you can get it on sale, it'll be a lot less. And they're already sold out as of the time I'm filming this, but hopefully they'll get restocked during the sale. So yeah, in today's video, I'll just be giving my first impressions and review, as well as full face demos of both of these palettes on my skin tone. So if that sounds good to you, then just keep on watching. But before we get into it, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more content like this, because it really helps out my channel. And yeah, let's just get right into the video. Okay, so I have my base all done, like my foundation and lips. So I think I'm gonna start off with the light palette. It looks like this. These are super pretty wearable shades for the daytime. So let's start off by swatching them. I'm gonna go into the cream blush first. Okay, so the cream blush has a very dry texture. It's not like a creamy cream blush. It's quite smooth and blendable, as you can see here. It's more of like a cream to powder finish. Like, it's not emollient at all. Okay, and then we're gonna go into the highlight, which is called Star Glow. Feels very smooth and buttery. Looks like this on the finger. Ooh, it's super reflective and shiny. And it blends out super smoothly. Like, that's a pretty strong highlight, I would say. It looks really pretty. Okay, so now we're gonna go into the eyeshadows. I swatched these in store and I checked on the Sephora website where it says like all the individual names of the shades, and all the shimmer shades in these palettes are the KS formula, which I think is like chroma crystal or something along those lines. But basically it means that they have a lot of sparkle in them. And when I swatched it in the store, I was like, oh my god, that is actually so beautiful. So let's see. Yeah, like you can see how has a lot of micro shimmer sparkles in it, which is different than her regular like smooth metallic formula. And I like this formula the best out of all NATASHA Denona eyeshadows. So when I saw these in the store, I was like, okay, like that's what sold me on these palettes, because the shimmers are just those like kind of chroma crystal type shades. That was the shade Inner Corner. Now I'm gonna go in with Transition. Feels super smooth. I'm gonna build it up more because it's kind of hard for me to swatch while also looking at the camera. Okay, you can see here. It's a neutral light brown matte, but with like pink undertones. Now I'm gonna go in the shade Crease. But yeah, see, like these are so buttery. Super great NATASHA Denona formula as usual. I'm gonna build it up a little bit more so you can see. Okay, now we're going to the shade Outer Corner. It's another shimmer shade. Like, what is that? What is that? Oh, you can see it on my finger too. Woohoo! Like, she's pigmented, she's sparkly, she's beautiful. Build it up a little bit. But you saw like with one swatch, it's like already beautiful. But like, what is that? Like, NATASHA, oh my gosh, like, those glitters when I saw them in store, gone. My money gone. Because like these are my exact favorite type of shimmer shades, where it's a metallic with micro shimmer glitters running through it. So it just adds that extra sparkle and dimension to your eyes. So beautiful. Okay, so now we're gonna go into the Smoke shade, which is the deepest shade in the palette. Oops, my swatch got kind of messed up. I'm gonna build it up more. Yeah, oh my god, super nice and smooth. I'm gonna build it up a little bit more just so you can see the pigmentation. Yeah, this is the whole palette on my arm. Super beautiful neutral tones, perfect for anybody, honestly. Definitely leaning slightly warm, like with a peachy undertone, not orange, but not cool toned. Also, this whole color story is reminding me a lot of Charlotte Tilbury. So now let's dive into putting this beauty on my face. I'm gonna start with the shade Transition. Okay, that's like the perfect transition shade. Okay, now we're gonna deepen it up a little bit with the shade Crease. I'm gonna try to put that right in the crease. So obviously these looks are gonna be really simple. We're gonna go in with the shade Smoke and put that in the outer corner. Yeah, these mattes, they basically just like blend themselves and the gradient is super nice. So now we're gonna go in with the shade Outer Corner. These do have a tiny bit of fallout, as you can see there, but it's nothing crazy and you can probably just wipe it away with a brush. I'm willing to deal with fallout if it's for these beautiful shades, you know what I mean? Like, what is that? Okay, and then we're gonna go in with the Inner Corner shade. You can see that these shades are super glittery, like, and they're pretty high impact. But you could probably sheer them out if you wanted to. I like my looks to be very shimmery, so. Okay, and then I'm just gonna add some of Transition and Crease to the lower lash line. And lastly, you're gonna go in with Inner Corner and put it in the inner corner and inner third of the lower lash line as a highlighting shade. Okay, so that's the eyeshadow all done on this eye. And then I'm gonna try to use Smoke as a shadow liner. Okay, so that's the shadow liner. It's pretty subtle, but it still defines the lashes. So that's about the eyeshadow all done for this eye. And now I'm gonna do the same on the other eye and then do some mascara, and then I'll be right back for the cheek products. Okay, so now I'm back and ready for the cheeks, but let me just show you the eyes first. They're so pretty. Okay, so let's get into the cheeks. So we're going into the cream blush. That's just called Cream Blush. Okay, so I'm just taking it on my brush. Okay, she's actually pretty pigmented. Ooh, that's looking really nice. So it's interesting because the formula looks really dry, or feels really dry in the pan, but it still picks up a substantial amount of product somehow. You can see. And it blended out super fast. It has a really nice natural finish. Like the glow that you're seeing is just from my base that I already had on, which is the new Tower 28 foundation. Also, it's a very thin formula, not emollient. You can't feel it on your face at all. It applies in a very thin layer. I think this would be perfect for oilier skin types, or if you just don't like feeling anything on your face. What's interesting, it doesn't drag at all as I'm blending it out. Even though like when you rub your finger in the pan, it kind of drags along the pan because it's a dry formula. And the shade is super nice. It's like a peach. It looks a bit dark here, but as you can see, it's a nice light complexion lifting peach. Okay, so now we're gonna go into the highlighter. So this is a powder highlighter, and from the swatch, it was pretty strong. So I'm just gonna... Okay, yeah, this highlight is it's a blinding highlight for sure. Because I tapped like this twice, and it looks like this. I don't know if you can see, the highlight is quite blinding. It actually looks pretty natural. Oh yeah, you can see from further away, like, ba-bam. Also yeah, even though it's blinding, it's not metallic looking. Like, it definitely looks like my skin is wet. You can see. That's so cute. Okay, I'm gonna add a little bit of blush on top because I feel like adding highlight kind of takes away the blush color a little bit. This is the finished face look for the light palette. What do we think? I think it looks super pretty and natural. It's great for a daytime look. It really brightened my face and my complexion. I just look super healthy and, I don't know, youthful. Like, wow, it's so pretty. Like, all the colors are just working together perfectly. I mean, that's the whole point of this face palette, but I just love the look that it gives. Okay, so now on to the dark palette. So here are the shades. I feel like even though it's technically made for darker skin tones, I feel like it would still work for my skin tone. And these colors just scream fall to me, so I was like, so I'm also gonna pick this one up. Okay, so let's get into the swatches, I guess. Interesting. So actually, I feel like this one is less dry than the other one. I don't know if that's just because it's more pigmented or it's more creamy than the other one. But they're both about the same in terms of, it's a very thin formula, as you can see. I'd say it's like a natural to glowy finish. Like, definitely not a true matte, but it doesn't add like a wet dew. You can see some shine here. Oh, wait, so this is it blended out, but I'll show you like a heavier swatch. You can see here. So yeah, you can build it up. Like, that can become a pretty dark color if you want it to be. So you can see the difference between the blended out and the not blended out. So now we're gonna go into the highlighter in the dark palette. It's also called Star Glow. I don't know why they don't have different names. I'll show you here. So yeah, definitely more bronzy. And you can see that swatch could have kept going, but okay, I'm just gonna blend it out. See how like fast it blends out? Like I'm barely applying any pressure and it's just like, again, a very thin formula, kind of gel-like almost. Yeah, super reflective. This one's just more bronzy, but I think it could still work for my skin tone. My hand is just really pale. So now we're gonna go in with the outer corner shade. It's kind of like a copper, looks like this. It's like a rosy copper. It can build up to be pretty deep, but you can see what it looks like sheared out here. There actually kind of has a lot of shades in it. It's kind of a mix between a copper and a bronze, and it has like pink sparkles in it. So yeah, it has like a little bit of a pink undertone to it because of the pink sparkles. So now we're gonna go into transition. It feels super smooth when I touch it. So yeah, let's just see like how it's basically blending out as I'm rubbing it back and forth very lightly. Like they're super blendable. Here, I'm gonna build it up on my arm. I really like the tone of that. It's quite neutral, but it kind of has like a yellow undertone almost. It has like a mustardy undertone to it. It's a great like fall shade. And then next we have Smoke, which is gonna be the darkest shade. Whoa, like that's swatched amazingly. I like to blend them out a little because that's not what it's gonna look like on the eyes. That's really nice. It's actually kind of cool toned, like a cool toned brown. Ooh, like aren't these toasty shades so nice for fall? Okay, next we're gonna go into the shade Inner Corner. It's kind of like a taupey gray brown shimmer shade. Looks like this. Ooh. Wow. That is so pretty. That one is definitely more reflective than the other one. But I think it's just because the other one is a deeper shade, so it's not going to look as high shine just because it's darker. But there are definitely glitters in both of them. So it's interesting. It has like a warmer brown base, but with more like silver glitters running throughout. We have the tones of these. Okay, and lastly, we have the shade Crease. More of like a reddy brown shade. Go here. Like, look how nice and smooth, like it could have kept going, but, and I don't do like very heavy swatches because I don't like to like ruin my makeup. Like the formula of this is actually impeccable. Oh my God. What the heck? Like Natasha does not miss with her formulas, okay? So that's all of the shades in this palette. See on my arm here. Even though the shades are deeper, I actually think that they're quite wearable for me. It just is screaming fall to me. I think that they're slightly warmer than the light palette, but none of them have like an orange undertone, which is what I don't like about warm shades usually, like if they're too warm. I don't like it when it looks orange, but all of these are like, they have some interesting nuances to them. Like we have this interesting bronze, this has like a mustard yellow undertone, this has a cool, like slightly purple undertone, like very slightly, it's more neutral, but. And then this has like an interesting difference between the base and the glitters on top. And then we have this, I really like this shade actually. It's like a chocolate brown, but then with a red undertone, but it's still overall very neutral. Like none of the undertones are super strong, which I also enjoy. I don't know, I feel like I'm enjoying how these palettes look like way more than I expected to, because when you look at them, they're just like every other neutral palette. But I feel like, I don't know, just like something about the undertones in them and the formula, it's like actually perfect. So now I'm gonna remove the swatches and remove my light palette face of makeup, and I'll be back to put this on my face. Okay, so I'm back with the blank canvas. So I'm gonna go in with transition. Also, I love the fact that I can just use the mirror in this palette, super handy. Okay, so she's quite pigmented, but blends out super easily. That's a nice warm rusty brown. Now we're gonna go in with the shade Crease. So I'm taking all of these colors very lightly because I have a lighter skin tone, but I feel like if you have a deeper skin tone, these would actually just be good like transition colors for you. I'm gonna stick to the outer portion of my eye. Now we're gonna go in with the shade Smoke. It's the deepest shade. I'm just gonna put on the, whoa. Okay, she's pigmented. Definitely the most pigmented shade, and that was after I tapped off my brush, but Whoa, it blends out really easily though. You can definitely build it up, but I don't like super dark looks, so I'm not gonna build it up too much. This would be a great smoky eye palette. Like if you're going out at night. Okay, so this is the smoky eye. And now we're gonna go in with the shade Outer Corner. It's a really nice chocolatey bronze color. Okay, and then we're gonna go in with the shade Inner Corner. I love that taupey shade. And lastly, we're gonna go in with the shade Smoke and do some shadow liner. That shadow is super smooth and pigmented. We're gonna take some of Transition and Crease and put them along the bottom lash line. Okay, so lastly, I'm gonna try to take Inner Corner on the inner corner and the bottom inner third of the lash line, but I'm not sure if it's gonna be too dark, so we'll see about that. I think it's a little bit dark for my inner corner, but I can pull it off as long as I don't take it too close to the inner part. The reflect is brightening, so that's it for this eye. Now I'm gonna go off camera, do the other eye and mascara, and I'll be right back to finish with the cheeks. Okay, so now I'm back with the eyes all done. Look like this. And I also put some more brow gel in my brows because they were looking really light in comparison to the smokiness that's going on. Yeah, this look is a bit smokier than I would normally go for, but I feel like it still looks pretty natural, not like crazy dramatic or anything. So anyway, now we're gonna go into the cream blush. I'm gonna try to be gentle. So yeah, I tapped extremely lightly and there's quite a bit of pigment. So this one in this palette is like a terracotta shade. I feel like that's the best way to describe it. Yeah, both of the blushes are more warm leaning. Nothing too warm though. It blends out super easily and looks super natural on the skin and doesn't feel like anything. I'll do the same to the other side. Yeah, the blush is super buildable too. Like I could definitely get it darker than this if you have a deeper skin tone, but on my light skin tone, it looks super nice still. Okay, so now we're gonna go into the highlight. It's the moment of truth to see if it's gonna work on my skin tone. But I feel like with a light hand, it should be okay. I'm just gonna literally just one tap. It's a pretty bronzy shade. For me, I have to be kind of careful with this shade just to make sure that it doesn't leave a dark cast. But with a very light application, it doesn't, and it should be fine. You can see the highlight. I like that it gives my skin like a bronzy effect. But yeah, no dark cast as long as you use a light hand. So this is the finished dark palette look. What do we think? This is definitely more of a glam look for a person of my complexion, but I think it would be a great nude look on a deeper skin tone. Actually, most of these shades are pretty wearable for daytime as long as you don't go into the smoke shade, because that's kind of like what smoked out the outer corner and gave it a more like sexy look. But honestly, like if you take this out and just use like these four, it's still like very daytime appropriate. The dark palette definitely has the range. Like I feel like you can go day to night with this. With the light palette, it's definitely more of a daytime palette. You can't go very deep. It's perfect for someone like me if you just don't really like deeper colors anyway. And it's more easy to use, I guess, for lighter skin tones. Let me take out my hair clips and wash up my hands and I'll come back for my final thoughts. Okay, so now I'm back and I also brought the NATASHA DENONA GLAM palette just to compare. Overall, the GLAM palette is much more cool tone compared to these GLAM face palettes. So as you can see, the GLAM palette is much more cool tone compared to the light face palette, and the dark face palette is also much warmer as well. And none of the shades are repeats, so if you have the GLAM palette, it's not going to be a waste of your money to get the GLAM face palette. So yeah, back to these face palettes. I honestly think this is a run, do not walk situation. I really try to not tell people that they have to buy things, but I feel like these palettes are kind of a must. Like if you have the money to spend on a NATASHA DENONA palette, I think you have to pick these up, or at least just pick up one. You don't have to pick up both. Just pick up the one that like speaks the most to you. I don't know, they look just like any other neutral palette, I guess, but I feel like there's something really special about these. I think because one, there's not a single dud in any of these palettes, like not for the face products and not for the eyes. And then two, I really appreciate the fact that all of the shimmers in both of these are the crystal type of shimmer, where they have a bunch of fine micro glitters in them. It just really makes your eyelids sparkle and look wet and are just much more impactful, I think, than a regular metallic. And then 3, I think that the tones that are curated in these palettes are perfect together. I feel like with neutrals, it's all about the undertones and then how they combine. Because I mean, how much can you do with a neutral palette? That's where the nuances of the neutrals are really important, I feel like. And okay, so these are both warm tone palettes. They're definitely warm toned. I don't know, just something about these palettes I feel like is actually special, even though like they didn't look like that much in the promo photos, and just like when you see the photos online, it's just like, yeah, it's just like every other neutral palette. But no, it is not like every other neutral palette. I don't know what it is. Like, also the formulas are perfection. The mattes, super pigmented yet super blendable. Like, they literally just blend out. The shimmers, perfect shimmery formula that I was talking about. The cream blushes, they're interesting because they're drier than most cream blushes that I have in my collection, at least in terms of like when you swatch it with your finger. But they apply perfectly with a brush, which is what I normally use. And I feel like the shades are actually really flattering, even though, again, I generally don't like super warm tone things, but these are the types of warm tones that I can appreciate. Like, it's actually quite neutral, but just with a touch of warmth. So I don't know, they're just perfect. Also, the highlighters, they're pretty blinding, to be honest. I added a very thin layer and it's already like ba-bam. Yeah, so if you want that blinding highlight look, you can get this out of these. I'm definitely going to be bringing these for when I travel later this month. Like, these are the perfect travel palettes if you're going anywhere for the holidays. I feel like you just have everything in one palette ready to go. I literally cannot find anything to dislike about these besides the fact that, yeah, they're neutrals and they've been done before. But I feel like the main thing about this is how it's really cohesive and all put together in one place. Again, really nice for travel, or really great if you just want an all-in-one palette. And like, if you've never tried NATASHA DENONA before and really want to try her formulas, I feel like this is a perfect way to get into it. So yeah, all in all, I was actually like surprisingly impressed by these palettes. I picked them up thinking that they were going to be pretty, but I actually think that there's something special about these. So hopefully they come back in stock during the Sephora sale, which is going on right now. Anyway, that's about all my thoughts. Let me know down in the comments below which one you like better, the light one or the dark one. So yeah, make sure to thumbs up this video if you like this video, and don't forget to comment and subscribe if you want to see more content like this, because it really helps out my channel. And yeah, I'll see y'all in my next video. Bye.